Hey, good evening. It is 8:49. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how late it is. 8:49 p.m. It's not terribly late, but I would say for me it kind of is. I try to make the most of the daylight hours because like when it's nighttime, I just kind of associate that with sleep and I just automatically feel like, oh, like this obligation to go to bed or something, and I just I don't like to waste time. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and make another little video, semi chatty today. I mean, I feel a little bit like I want to talk, but I have just been, I would say, mentally drained, tapped out, and I've always been extremely like strong. Like I've always been able to handle things. Um, but I would say this issue really caused me a lot of trauma, and not just that, it's trauma, shock, fear, anxiety, depression. It really, really shook me, mainly because, like I said before, I think I probably said it in my last video, it's the fact that, you come to this realization that can actually cause a person mental disturbance, and it has caused me like serious mental disturbance. So, as I mentioned, in my last video, I was talking about, me trying to discover what is it that's going to like perk me out because I'm in this permanent state, it seems, of just blah. Like, I feel like nothing impresses me. I'm just kind of going about my daily life without any sort of emotion, and it is very unusual for me because of uh, just a lot of the over um, exposure to one what I consider traumatizing issue after another in this ordeal. And um, it's not easy. There's moments where I'm like I feel content and I don't feel so edgy, and then sometimes I just do. I woke up this morning and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, man, I really feel tired. Like I just looked so like drained, and um, and I don't like how this is like enveloping my personality and my usual way of functioning. You know, um, I don't know. I've heard of that term, like, and I've never exactly know what it meant. Like when people would say the word midlife crisis, like, what exactly brings that on? I have never really studied that expression. I know I've never even bothered to Google it. And perhaps maybe I will. People talk about midlife crisis. And sometimes I think, this is my definition of it. I think a lot of times, you get to a certain age and certain things reveal itself to you, or you come to certain realizations about things. And in my case, and in my definition of that expression or whatever, statement or whatever, I feel as though this was something that literally like blew my mind away. Literally shattered me. Um, you know, so after dealing with having so much of my life taken away, I am doing everything I can to piece my life back together. But the sad part is that I feel like, what's the word for it? Like I miss the intense person that I used to be. Like I miss the high level energy type person, the enthusiastic person, and I need to have that back, because and I feel like my life did go into a direction that I never expected it to go. I never expected to understand the root cause of things and why things were the way that they were, what happened, who was behind it, and then all of this. And you start to think about, my goodness, I can't believe all my life I've been around people who basically pretty much wish me dead. That is very, like, it kind of keeps me up at night sometimes. And it's hard to stop playing that over and over and over in your head because it really does shake you. I think when it comes to things like employment law, and I know people, they kind of listen to these issues about harassment in the workplace, and they hear it and they just kind of go through the motions of their little training because that's their sort of required whatever. But they need to understand why these things are wrong and the effects that it has on a human being. It's not good. But anyway, so I decided to take some time this weekend and just do like this 24-hour like meditation. Now, as you see on this picture, I pulled this off the internet of a girl like, sitting in front of the sun, which is nice. I love meditating in front of the sun. But this is a 24-hour meditation. There's going to be times where there is no sunlight. But meditation doesn't have to be as formal as what you see in this picture. A lot of times meditation for me is, sometimes I'm sitting, like, I don't ever really sit like that during meditation, but sometimes I'm laying down flat on my back. Sometimes I'm just sitting, regular sitting, just like, with my legs like right in front of me or whatever. Then sometimes, I can just be very quiet, not say anything for a long period of time, and just let thoughts flow through my mind randomly. And so, it doesn't have to be that way. But this is what I need for myself. Just listening to my own mind and trying to discover, myself again. And I do need to break out of my bubble. I do. But I also sometimes am very leery of people, as I should be. Because, for the longest period of time, it seems as though I was like someone people wanted to get rid of. And for reasons that I am not responsible for. So obviously I was a victim of a hate crime that I didn't deserve. And after you've experienced something like that, and that is what it is. Tell me that it's not, nobody can sit there, there is no way in the world somebody can say that wasn't a hate crime. And if you are, then you might be retarded, but whatever. Anyway. Yeah, I deal with a lot of anxiety and depression. And so, I want to, just kind of center this weekend. And, the only time I think I'm going to leave the house is to pick up some groceries and some food, food and stuff. Then I'm coming right back. And I just want to, spend some time with myself. And people think, well, you spend time with yourself all the time. But, I need to ask myself, like, these really important questions. Because I can't go on like this. I can't go on like, but I have to be my own advisor. I have to be my own support system. You know what I mean? God knows I wouldn't trust anyone in the medical profession. I wouldn't trust anyone with my, my issues. But this is how it is. I literally have to take care of myself 100%. Like, I literally have no one who really gives a flying fuck about what happens to me. And that's obvious, because if somebody's going to do some bullshit like that, and I can go into the story, but, no one could even, like, come up with a good story or a reason why somebody would do anything like that. But anyway, I don't want to go off to it too much, and it's really getting kind of late, and I want to get to bed, but this is what I'm up to. I'm up to this sort of stuff, meditation, lots of it. And I was thinking about fasting, but that's not necessary for some people with who have a hard time with meditation. Sometimes people go and they start to do a fast, And, you know, sometimes that's a little bit of food, like it might be soup, and some people don't eat any food at all, or they'll just drink liquids or whatever. But one thing that fasting does is it does put you in a certain mental state, and it is very receptive to things and opening up your psychic centers. So that's one option, you know, for people who are trying to develop meditational skills. And you know, some people don't realize, but it is important to watch what you're eating when you are meditating. I know a lot of people like sugary treats, you know, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with those sugary treats every once in a while. You know, I had a little bit of ice cream a few days ago, and it is very sweet. And you know, I used to like sweets, but I'm not really into sweets anymore, and I do feel as though it affects my mental state. People think, you know, oh, this is like a quick pick-me-up, which I don't believe that. It does kind of like make you a little bit happy at first, you know, but then for me, maybe I'm the only person who feels this way, but I also have read a lot of other people who've felt this way, that sugar kind of just brings them plummeting right back down. So I don't think that sugar is a good thing to overindulge in. Especially if you are doing things that relate to the mind and you're trying to sharpen it, which I love sharpening my mind, and that's what this weekend is going to be about. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I would like to work on my video, the witchcraft one. I got to add some pictures and a little bit more information, but I do want to get back with my videos, and that's something that's really important for me. And I do think that I have been blacked out, like blotted out, or whatever that term I used in my last video. I do feel as though that has happened. I don't understand, you know, the pathological behavior of certain people, and it is pathological. I mean, it's like, it's sick and very twisted to do something like this. These are demonic people, seriously. I have done nothing to warrant that, you know, and, you know, it's like you're literally going to work and trying to pay your bills, and then this sort of crazy stuff happens. It's, I cannot tell people, like, why this is a bad thing, and why people, I can't stress the importance of, you know, being careful about certain behaviors, in the workplace, and the effects of it, you know, because sometimes I feel as though I went to war. I mean, it literally feels that way sometimes, you know, like I deal with like what they call post-traumatic stress disorder just as much as a person who went to war, because I feel like I was fighting for my life among people, vicious, angry people who had no right to do that, you know, and it literally feels like an attack, you know, and I'm dealing with like these wounds and this issue, you know, by myself. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video, and I will be back with another video sometime later. Have a good evening.